Adam, threw in the FA Trophy last week and now an away tie at Gainsborough. What are your thoughts on that tie?
Tricky tie. Obviously, got a very good striker that Callum knows well. Scoring a lot of goals. Scored again late for them last night. So, it'd be great for them two to come up against each other in close proximity. It's a tricky one. Tough place to go, and we'll when that game comes round, definitely pay them the respect that we pay any National League club, and still do our homework as if it's a National League game. So a tricky little tie for us, but one to look forward to when it comes round.
Yeah, does that sort of mean that you've already got to ink in at least one player onto the team sheet on whatever the Saturday, January the 4th?
I think certainly Cal want to play in that game, I'm sure. It's like I said, a competition that we want to take seriously. It's last 32 now, I believe. So ourselves and Gainsborough both be looking to get into the last 16. That's for sure.
Yeah. Clearly, your side will go into that game as big favourites, but they've had an amazing cup record this season. Of course, managed again by former York City manager in Russ Wilcox.
Yeah, unbelievable in the cups, and I'm sure they'll want to pick up a little bit in the league. But had a good late win last night. So, they've got a bit of momentum. We'll definitely get our eyes on them and be ready, like I say, when that draw comes round.
Before we start talking about this weekend's game at Tamworth, one of the things we should talk about as well this week, Ollie Pearce, Player of the Month for November. Is there anything more to say about Ollie Pearce than what we've already said this season?
Unbelievable vein of form, and it's training really hard. Even when start of the season he was going through a bit of a barren run for him, he was still working tirelessly and showing his quality. So, delighted for Ollie, and like myself, I think this is the time of the year that you really want the awards. December, January, February is a time where it really matters. We'll be doing all we can to sort of build on those and hope there's no hoodoos from that award. And he'll be looking to definitely build on his good form that he's in.
Yeah, I think we've asked him if he's got any goal targets for the season. He's always sort of shied away from the question, but he seems like a really driven individual looking at the amount of goals he has scored over the last few years.
He certainly is, and it would have hurt him when he wasn't scoring goals, and he likes being on the winning team, he's the first one to sort of keep standards high, and I think everyone that's worked with him been so impressed for a player that's never been professional before. His first sort of go out this year, and I think shocked a lot of his teammates just with his quality and his work ethic. So we wanted to keep him in that form, and if he can, then we'll got a real talented player for the level.
And do you think at his best he could actually play at a high level in this as well?
Yeah, I think he's always knocked down them sort of hurdles and those obstacles and those different challenges that have been chucked at him. Even the start of this year, it was always never played at this sort of level before. So, and his response is to score goals. So, it's always been his response. I think it took him a while to settle in. I think maybe he's having an extra touch in the box, and he learned that you don't get that time. But he's a very intelligent player, so he very quickly adapted. And I'm sure that if he played at a high level, he would do the same.
Okay, let's look ahead then to this weekend's game, back in league action, away at Tamworth. A side that over the last 2 and a bit years have done incredibly well for back-to-back promotions and now to be pretty solid in the middle of the table.
Yeah, had some very good scalps at their home ground as well, so a real tough team to play. Beat 2 obviously away at Burton, but at home beating Huddersfield, and it's a tricky place to go, and we know that we've got to really be our best and match their intensity that they come with. Very good from set pieces. Obviously got a long throw as well, which is a real weapon. And we've got to be ready for that. Got to be ready for what they chuck at us. to excuse the pun, because it literally is. We will come in and be put under our run down our throats, put under our crossbar, and we've got to be ready for that. We've got to be ready to deal with that, and then once we've dealt with that, we've got to be ready to implement our game plan. But the intensity that we bring is so important.
Yeah, teams that are a little bit more direct are sometimes a little bit derided at times, but if you've got someone who can throw with that trajectory, especially that Tonks has got, you'd be mad not to use it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real weapon for them, and big part of their game. I'm not disrespecting them at all, because that's not just the only weapon they have got, but it is a big part and a big armoury. So why would you not use it? And like I say, they're a tough team to play against, especially at home. They'll be looking at their home form to be the mark that keeps them in the division. So it's a tough place to go. We'll do all we can to make sure that we come away with something, but I think any team that leaves there with anything whatsoever, then you're really pleased.
How do you go about combating that long throw? Because of the trajectory, it is almost impossible to replicate.
It is, yeah. It's almost like a corner, I suppose, and like a free kick coming in your box. So, like I said, the trajectory is the real thing, and it comes with such venom as well at that pace. So it's a tough one to replicate. You just try to put people in the right areas, and get someone to come probably 20 yards closer and try and throw it from there. But yeah, we're obviously be looking at combating that, but like I say, if that's the only focus we've got, then we'd be very much mistaken, because they've got some good players. Tony McMahon was there watching them last night, and reported back on a couple of key areas that we could potentially exploit, and a couple of key other areas that they've got some potential and some really good players. So like we say all the time in these press conferences, that each game is a different challenge, and this certainly is one, and one that we've got to be ready for.
And one of those different challenges, for this league at least, is against the artificial surface. I know you're used to, and a number of your players are used to, down at Worthing. Does that change the perspective of this game whatsoever?
The only change that we sort of have, we've spent a bit more time down at the uni this week, just training on the 3G surface down there all week, just to sort of familiarise the players, I suppose, with that kind of surface. But other than that, there's not too much that you say different to the players. Sometimes it can have a bounce that's a bit unexpected, and I think to chase everything down is so important in both boxes, because a ball that you think is going to run through can sometimes hold up a little bit. So but other than that, they play very true. They're definitely not an excuse from us to use, and like I say, we've got to be ready for the surface, and what Tamworth bring in their game as well.
When you were at Worthing, did you think it was a slight advantage at times to your side, or was it a level playing field? Yeah,
quite a level playing field, really. We had mixed bag, really. We had some relatively good home form, but we certainly didn't win every game at home. If anything, our away form was probably a bit better, because teams will open up on a bit more. So, it's not something that we're probably a bit more used to in National League South, because there was a few more pitches that were played on it. But it's like I say, no excuses. They play very true now, and we've got to be ready.
I'm sure you'd admit that your away form in the last couple of months maybe hasn't been as good as your home form. How do you try and replicate what you've been doing here away from home?
I think the intensity in larger parts of the game has got to be there, and teams have changed up their game plan at half time. Maybe we haven't adapted, and we've got to go with the right intensity. I think so important, and we found that at home, and it's so important that we find it away, because we got to start picking up some more points away from home. That's clear and obvious to see, and want to try and start that this weekend.
How's your squad looking then? We'll start with Adam Crooks, who had to go off early last week.
Yeah, he's due a scan over the next couple of days just to see the extent of damage. Just felt sort of tightness in his hip area, so yeah, we're going to get scanned by the end of this week. We'll know a bit more. Won't be available for this weekend, but yeah, like so, hoping it's nothing too sinister and should be back relatively soon. But obviously, a scan will let us know that.
And I don't know how long Darrag's still out for, but does that sort of leave you slightly short at the back in that position?
Slightly, yeah. Obviously, Joe Felix is filled in that position really well. Obviously, Ricky done well at centre back as well. So got man of the match in that position. So we've got a few options. So yeah, slightly. We've got Ryan will be back from illness now as well. So yeah. We'll probably lose Crooksy, but gain Ryan from this weekend. Malachi's foot's absolutely fine now. So, and it's good. We had Dara, Cam, John, and Len all back involved with the group and training. So, probably too early for all them three this weekend. But it's great to have them back involved with the group. And by the start of the new year, we'd like to think all three of them would be vying for a start and minutes.
Everyone else okay? Anyone likely to be out this weekend?
No, that's it. I think everyone else is all responded good. There's a bit of illness at the start of the week, but everyone seems to come through okay. Ryan and David, but they seem fine and trained today. So yeah, other than Crooksy, I think it's a clean bill of health than what we had in the last few weeks.
Are you pleased to get back to league action? I know it's only been a fortnight. It will only have been a fortnight. It seems much longer than that for some reason. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, yeah, it's great. We want a cup run and want to do well in the FA Trophy, especially this year. But at the same time, we can't beat the nuts and bolts of a league campaign, and the 3 points up for grabs again this weekend. And we'll be going all out and doing all we can to make sure that we sort of add to our tally come 5 o'clock on Saturday.
You said Tony McMahon went to watch Tamworth at Hartlepool last night. There were a few other National League games as well as the trophy games that were held over from the weekend. What do you do midweek then if you went out watching that game?
Yeah,
to put your feet up or not?
No, yeah, try obviously watching games as much as we can. There's a few National League North games, like I say. So it's trying to get the sort of balance right of having some family time and obviously getting out and watching games as well. So yeah, I was on Champions League duty last night and watching a bit of Leeds and flicking between all of the games at home. Gaz was out watching Doncaster, Port Vale, and Macca was out. I think Cam was out watching a game as well. So we had eyes out. But yeah, it'll be my turn. I'm sure next week. I'm probably try and get down to Gainsborough next week and watch them.
Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers. Hiya.
An update on injuries. Ryan Fallowfield was out last weekend. Is he still available this weekend?
Yeah, he wasn't injured, just ill. He called in Saturday, said he had a bout of sickness and that. So yeah, he missed last week, but he's back training fully today and felt fine. So yeah, we think Ryan will be available for this weekend.
Has the weather affected training in the last few days at all? Is the training ground still available to you?
Yeah, training ground's available. Youth team, we just left them. They're playing. I think they was 2-0 up as I left. Yeah, it's available. But we've chose to just train on 3G this week, which has given the training ground a bit of respite and time to recover from the downpour that we've had over the weekend. And yeah, we're hoping that the weather forecast looks good for the rest of the week, so we'll be available to train back at the training ground next weekend.
Just turning to Tamworth then, they played last night, they won on penalties, they're still in 2 cup competitions, they're doing fairly well in the league. Tough place to go on Saturday?
Yeah, it certainly is. Like I say, they're doing well in 2 cup competitions. They've had some big scalps in there as well. Maybe got one eye on a certain FA Cup game that they got coming up. But they've done unbelievable for a team that's come up. They're sort of trying to establish themselves in this league, and like I say, the home forms is relatively good. It's a tough place to go. So, yeah, we're under no illusions of the size of the task, just because of the league positions, and we know we've got to be matching their intensity and trying to implement our game plan as best we can.
As we get the lead up to Christmas sort of gathering its pace now, how difficult a balance is it to prep for games and also satisfy requirements you must have coming in for appearances?
No, yeah. I think we try and juggle it well. Obviously, we know we're part of a big club at York City, and you know, us engaging with the supporters is really important to us. So you know, we want to do there and be present and be out there in the city. At the same time, we don't want to take our eye off of you know, the good start that we've made so far, and you know, we want to maintain that. So. Yeah, I think we get the balance right. The players all taking turns and chip in, and you know, the feedback that we've had is that the players actually engage really well when they do go to functions and that as well. So they don't just turn up and be a body there, but they actually engage in it, which is really important, and you know, something that we really encourage as a club. I
know you like to take one game at a time, but with the busy sort of Christmas period coming up, in terms of squad rotation and resting players, although it's not a busy Christmas period this year, is it? No, it's not too bad actually. I think so Saturday, and then the only busy sort of time is then we go Thursday, Wednesday, and then after that it's Wednesday, Saturday. So I think the Wednesday, Saturday will be the main one that we'll have to look at, but up till then it's relatively, like I say, not too hectic. So yeah, be able to get the balance right. You know, we want to prepare properly for those games, but also we know that you know, family time is important as well. So we just come up with a schedule to get the balance right on that, and yeah, hoping that not too many of the wives and girlfriends complain too much about the festive calendar that we've got together for the boys. You know, we feel like we need to prepare properly. At the same time, we've given them a bit of time to be with their families as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.